back, everyone, to Chaos Crew. Hope you have been having a wonderful holiday couple months. And this is Jeremy.
And it's your boy Gio.
And we're back, and this is one of our first episodes where we are knowingly going to be posting on YouTube. So, hello, everyone.
What's up, YouTube Sphere? How's it going? And it's also the first episode of the new year.
That's also true. This is the first episode of the new year. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully 2023 is better than the last.
I mean, to be fair, 2022 was a pretty solid year for both games and movies. At least horror movies.
That's true.
Didn't Elden Ring come out in 2022? Words.
No, Elden Ring came out like 21, I believe. It was not just last year.
I mean, we at least got Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, God of War Ragnarok. Ooh, that is a ride of a game.
I am not ready to replay it, but I am definitely ready to replay it. So emotional, so many things going on.
That is very true.
They need to add New Game Plus to it ASAP.
I don't know about New Game Plus. I never really liked New Game Plus too horribly much.
I kind of like the whole like going around the game again with like with all the better armor, but with the whole like slightly stronger enemies dynamic.
Yeah, speaking of things that came out strong last year, even though it's only been a month since its release, the newest Avatar movie, The Way of Water, is now sitting at number 7 of the top lifetime grossing films.
Number 7 of the top lifetime grossing films?
Mm-hmm.
How many has it earned so far, and what are the other 6 movies?
It's currently earned $1.7 billion.
Jeez.
The other 6 in lowest to highest, so literally the one just above it to the number 1, is Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Infinity War, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, Titanic, Avengers Endgame, and Avatar.
Avatar was the number 1?
Avatar is number 1. It sits at $2.9 billion.
2.9 billion?
Yeah.
Jesus. This was back in 2009 when it was just like a random blockbuster hit, and then no one talked about it ever since.
Yeah, and it sits at the number 1 of lifetime grossing films. But with Avatar Way of Water moving up into the top 10, now the director, James Cameron, has 3 movies in the top 10 list. How crazy is that?
I think I read somewhere that Titanic is only up there in the list because it has done multiple re-releases in theaters.
It has, but it still has made that much money in its lifetime.
Yeah.
Regardless if there's re-releases or not. But that being said, all what we just said is not our main topic of today.
Our main topic for today actually is, since we just came back from the holiday season, when you think of holidays, what do you think? What else comes to your mind? Vacations, right? I hope.
Me, it's more furry food.
You gotta love those holiday noms.
Exactly.
So, we figured we're gonna talk about some of the more unorthodox vacation destinations.
Not necessarily unorthodox, just ones that are not as mentioned. Like, we're not going to talk about Universal, we're not going to talk about visits to Disney or New York, things like that. And one of the start of that is something that both me and you have both been to that I want to mention is any Meow Wolf exhibits.
So for those who don't know what Meow Wolf is, Jeremy, how would you best describe it?
It's like looking inside someone who's having a trip attack.
Yeah, pretty much. They're all pretty like dope interactive art exhibits that are very, for lack of a better term, very psychedelic and drug influenced.
Or so it seems. If that's actually true, we don't know, but it is there. Regardless of the facts, it is still really cool exhibits, very interesting. And me and Gio, did you go to the one in Colorado? I don't remember.
Yeah, I went to the one in Denver and Vegas.
Yeah. So me and Gio at separate times have gone to the one in Colorado, which is the Transit
Convergence Station.
Convergence Station. Thank you. And it was wild. There was so many different areas, and a lot of it looked so strange and bizarre, but just and some of it was kind of off-putting, but still very interesting to just look at.
I believe that's I believe it's also the largest of the Meow Wolves so far.
I believe so, from what I've read. But there's a lot of places that looks like you're supposed to go that you can't, and then there's some hidden doors that you didn't know were doors until someone else opens them before you.
And they open up to some pretty weird rooms. Like, let's see. I remember when I was at the Convergence Station in Denver. Me and my best friend, he was showing me around it, and we found a room that had a bunch of like refrigerators lined up and all. You open a couple, it's actually like it actually opens up to a normal refrigerator, like just with some weird foods inside. Then there's one specific one that you open it up and it show like some weird like switchboard operator like telephone room.
I don't remember the fridges there. Like, I remember seeing one fridge, but that was like a quiet room because if it got too intense for people.
I might be having my rooms mixed up.
I remember there was a weird room with washers, like clothes washers, and the soap dispenser was actually a door that you can open up and peer into this, what looked like an interdimensional inside washing machine.
All I remember was that my best friend tried showing me like this one room, and we discovered this one door, and when we tried to open it up and check out the room inside, instead we found a couple hardcore making out.
Yep, that sounds about right.
We were like, oh, my bad, and we quickly ran away.
But yeah, Meow Wolf is definitely a very interesting and an experience that I greatly enjoyed and would definitely want to see all the other ones as well.
For sure. I just went to the one in Vegas recently. Omega
That's the
Mart.
Mega Mart, yeah.
Yeah. Although pretty small, it was still just as interesting. Like, there's this one room for anyone who is a progressive metal / rock fan. If you know the band Tool and know about their crazy psychedelic looking album artworks, there's a room inspired by one of the Tool album covers. It's got like the weird face on it. That was a very horrible description. But yeah, pretty much it looks like a giant infinity room. There we go. 10,000 Days album by Tool. Basically this room just looks just like that album cover. It was dope. There's mirrors everywhere. Sick. What else? There was also this cool little like climbing thing they had to do in one of the rooms. We had to like grab onto this rope and actually climb up to get to this door. And this woman would just end up roasting you. Really interesting. Highly recommend.
There's two others? Or just one other?
There's one other in Santa Fe. Right. I believe. And I believe that was the first Meow Wolf as well.
Yes. That one was the first, yes.
For anyone who is wondering, all the 3 Meow Wolves are definitely located in recreational legal states. So do with that info as you will. I was gonna say, speaking of Meow Wolves, Vegas though, that whole like complex that is in Area 15 in itself is a pretty interesting.
Wait, hold on. Meow Wolf is in Area 15?
Yeah.
That's suspicious.
But
because what's the numerical opposite to 15?
51.
There you go.
And I'm pretty sure that's like kind of near Vegas too, like at least like an hour and a half ish.
Do.
Besides the point, but yeah, that whole complex that's in Area 15, it is a pretty interesting like spot. It's kind of like Icon Park in Orlando, if anyone knows about that area, because they have a bar that literally gets lifted up like maybe 50, 100 feet in the air, and you're just strapped into a normal like bar stool. It is weird, and they have this pretty dope laser tag exhibit game, whatever, but with quote unquote zombies.
That sounds cool.
And they're also getting the newly announced year-round Halloween Horror Nights exhibit from Universal.
I heard about that. That's going to be an interesting experience for sure. Did you see? I know we said we weren't going to be talking about the major vacation spots, but I just want to bring up one comment. Did you see that the Universal at Orlando added a escape room to City Walk?
I did see that. It was like either Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, or something else themed.
I am not a fan so far. I love escape rooms, but from my understanding of how it works, is it's more screen based than actual physical interaction based. I just don't like that.
Ooh, yeah. That doesn't sound fun. I've only ever done one escape room, and the amount of cool stuff that was happening around the room was pretty dope.
It's intense, but it's so fun.
Hell yeah.
But back to vacations. A couple years ago, and I think you would really enjoy this because I'm 90% sure you've never been there. I was in Texas, and I visited the I can't remember if it was national or not, but it was a video game museum.
What, in a video game museum?
A video game museum. We went in, and one of the first things you see is this giant screen with a giant game controller in front of it, where you can play Pong against someone else, and like actually play Pong on this giant Pong monitor. And then they had all this other stuff too. Like in the very back, you could actually play like the original, what's it called? Old computer game where you're constantly dying something trail. I can't remember.
Oh, the Oregon Trail.
You can play the original Oregon Trail. You can play like the old school Duck Hunt and all kinds of stuff. They have like an actual arcade attached to it. It was one of the coolest experiences I ever had. And it was super interesting because like we were going through it and we got to the Duck Hunt area and we were playing a little bit, and then my mind was just like, man, the information that this little old school system was processing, because it got me thinking how the guns work to shoot the ducks in Duck Hunt is it shoots an infrared laser at the glass screen of the old school TVs that reflects back the laser to mark where the ducks were hit on the screen. But for it to actually track the locations of the ducks in accordance to where the laser hit on the screen, that is insane if you think about the time period it came out.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy when you think about it.
Because nowadays we have like things like the Wii or virtual reality where you don't even really have a screen that you're tracking or anything like that. But back then, that was like even now, I'm still a little mind boggled over the fact that was a thing when it was created, because that seems way ahead of its time.
Yeah, when did that come out again?
The original Duck Hunt game?
Yeah.
Duck Hunt was a 1984 light gun shooter video game for the NES.
Jesus.
Uh-huh. Isn't that just wild?
Don't talk to me.
Huh?
Don't talk to me. My mind is blown.
Apologies, everyone. If you didn't notice by now, I'm a little meh. just got over being sick, but I still have like the remnant cough, so you might be hearing a bit of coughing or a lot of coughing throughout the episode.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, no, the video game museum in Texas was an excellent visit. It's not a big museum, mind you. It's like part of like a whole science museum that has different like wings and all that, but it was still an amazingly fun time.
Dope. There was one time when I was visiting Salt Lake City. I had a brother who was stationed there in the Air Force, and on his base that he works at was a pretty dope museum about fighter planes and jets that have been used in history from like I think like World War One to modern day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, these planes are scary huge. It's one of those things where you don't take into account like how big they are until you actually come face to face with them.
That's fair.
Like seeing these old like retired planes from like Vietnam War and shit was crazy. Like when you see like how big those mounted guns are, either the ones on the wings or the ones that like the people themselves had to like manually use. It is sick. Sick like cool sick, not like disgusting sick.
Yeah. Sick like is an awesome. I get you.
Yeah. And not gonna lie, whole time I was running around the whole place like quoting lines from every single war movie I've seen. when I saw the planes that had like, you know, like the man powered guns, I was over here quoting lines from Full Metal Jacket. And then out here like reenacting scenes from Saving Private Ryan when I saw all the World War II planes and jets. Really interesting. I'd say if you've ever been like kind of interested in history, definitely check out one of those museums.
Yeah, definitely. Like any museum you find is going to be interesting if you're interested in that kind of topic, just straight up. But the ones that you and I are talking about are definitely slightly more niche museums. Like I know a lot of people enjoy playing games nowadays, but I don't think there's as many people as you'd think that are into like the history of games as I am.
Fair. That is very true.
I don't know if Gio's ever been there, and but just y'all know, Tennessee has an amusement park. Did you know that, Gio?
Is it what I think it is?
Yes, I'm talking about Dollywood.
Unironically, I want to go see Dollywood so bad.
It is oddly relaxing. Well, to preface, I haven't been there in probably 13, 14 years, so I'm not sure what it's like now. But back then, it was kind of relaxing. It was just somewhere you kind of go for the uniqueness of the experience or the comfort, it's not comfortability, it's a specific word, I can't remember it.
Like the hominess of it?
Yeah, the hominess of it for people who've been there a couple of times is a very interesting experience. But on the way up there, there's a place you drive through an area called Pigeon Forge, which has all kinds of small. It used to have all kinds of small attractions and stuff, and there was actually a Ripley's Believe It or Not world's record museum there.
Yeah, cause I've been to Pigeon Forge I think like once or twice with family, and I remember like driving by the Ripley's and also some like generic like haunted creepy experience whatever.
But yeah, all that stuff just in general for vacation purposes, Pigeon Forge / Dollywood area is very interesting because there's so much stuff to do over there.
Dude, I need to go back there like now as an adult, because as a kid I didn't appreciate my time there. Also, I didn't have much to say of what I wanted to do or anything. My family
That's
forced
fair.
me. My family just had me up there to like learn how to ski, which wasn't my thing. The boy almost did a split.
That would hurt.
Bro, 11-year-old me was not having it. Coolest thing about the whole trip that I think I enjoyed was probably hanging out in a jacuzzi and like making the water splash out to melt the snow. Cause you know, Florida boy, seeing snow slash ice on the road for the first time ever.
That's fair. But yeah, you should definitely go again now that you're older, just to do those experiences again, see if they're any different as you remember it, or if they're maybe even better than you remember.
True. Speaking of places I need to go visit again now that I'm older, I'm mad that I didn't get a chance to do this when I was already there, but I gotta go see the Hoover Dam again.
The Hoover Dam. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's like a bit like outside of Vegas. I think like 40 minutes driving, give or take. It is a pretty dope sight to see. Pretty scary if you have a fear of heights, but still pretty dope. I went there once when I was like 13 years old, visiting that same military brother, but this time he was stationed at Vegas. And mans one day said, "Hey, you want to go see the dam?" My brother and I said, "Sure." The moment we got there, saw one of the employees, my dumbass self, still can't believe I did this. I went up to that employee and said, "Hey man, so where's Megatron?"
Geo.
Like I said, the boy was actually, I was actually 15 at the time, so that made it worse.
Oh, Geo.
That man gave me the look that screamed, "I've heard this joke hundreds of times."
Man, I could tell you some vacation trip stories that are similar to that. Boy, I got a couple.
Oh god.
I think my favorite one. So we'll talk about the vacation destination first, and then I'll tell you the story about the trip itself. We went to New Mexico to a place called Philmont Ranch. It's like a mountainous area where you could do hiking, camping, that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool. I had a wonderful time there. A little hard work, but hey, it was fun. When we were there was an issue with the RV we took. So we drove an RV, right? It was an older RV. And when we stopped for the night before we went to the camp the next day, when we started the RV the next morning, it wouldn't drive.
Oh no.
Apparently, sometime overnight, the drive shaft cable broke. So, and this was a small out of nowhere little city. Like, they didn't have a mechanic. They didn't have anything like that there. They had an old bookshop and a hotel, and that was about it. So what ended up having to happen was one person with a pair of needle nose pliers had to be sitting on the ground pulling the drive shift cable to allow them to drive forward all the way up till they got to Santa Fe.
Oh no.
Where they could get to a mechanic to get the parts needed for repairing.
Oh nah.
And on that same trip, exact same trip, my mother wanted some popcorn as we were driving this RV. Threw the popcorn in the microwave, set the timer, and as soon as she pressed the start button, my dad told her to turn off the air conditioner before you start it for power drain purposes. But she pressed start as soon as that happened. Then she walked over to the air conditioner and turned off the air conditioner. There was an immediate power surge. Like, it fried our surge protector. The surge protector was smoking. This was all in the course of like 5 seconds, all right?
Jeez.
That's not the part you're going to say geez to. She opened the microwave and she pulled out a fully popped bag of popcorn that had burn holes in the bag from this power surge of electricity that nuked that bag of popcorn.
That's not even a G's. That's a what the
Yeah,
oh my god.
I would say this entire that bag was in there maybe at most 15 seconds, and literally every single she poured the bag out into a bowl. Every single kernel was popped. There was no unpopped kernels. None of it was burnt except for the bag.
That is terrifying.
It was terrifying at the time. Now it's just hilarious. But yeah, back to the vacation spot. Philmont Ranch was a camping area. I had a great time. I met some nice guys. We had fun. I almost got dysentery by accident, but that's a separate.
What?
That's what? Oh, that. Yeah. We were hiking for a while and we were all out of water, so we filled up our water in the river and put purification tablets in it. I didn't let the purification tablets sit long enough to fully purify the water, so there was a small chance I could have gotten dysentery from drinking the water before it was fully purified.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
No, normal things happen on vacation, I guess.
Who wants to be normal when you can be crazy?
Exactly. Would you count the Stanley Hotel as interesting vacation spot?
What's the Stanley Hotel?
So Stanley Hotel is a supposedly haunted hotel that when Stephen King stayed there, and is actually what inspired him to write The Shining.
I'd count that.
Yep. It is a small hotel.
Really? You wouldn't get that from how The Shining reads.
Yeah, well, I guess for the sake of fiction, they had to exaggerate and make it huge and almost labyrinth-like. When you go to when you go to the actual Stanley Hotel itself, it's pretty small, but I think it's counted as one of those American history cultural sites or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cause it was an operating hotel since the mid 1800s or something like that. Point is, it's old as hell.
Did you stay there?
I did not stay there. I did I was on my way hiking I was on my way hiking into the Rocky Mountains and that happened to be on the way. And my best friend, know how much I love horror and horror films in general, man decided to do a quick little detour and bring me to it, show me around. And the whole time I was obsessing because they have this one room with filled with props from both the Stanley Kubrick Shining movie and also apparently a direct-to-TV Shining adaptation as well. It was awesome, and I may have spent $100 buying merchandise and souvenirs there, including a scarf that may never get worn. Because when in Florida, do you get a chance to wear a scarf?
Fair point.
But yeah, really interesting place. If I had the extra money, I would definitely want to stay the night there and experience some of the haunted ghostiness that happens there. And apparently they do ghost tours there.
That makes sense.
Of course, gotta capitalize off the spookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's any place that's haunted, there's a good chance that they also have ghost tours there. Every other corner in St. Augustine, Florida.
Have you ever been to the Hershey factory?
No, I have not, but I kind of want to go.
It's really interesting. I didn't go to the Hershey Park. I just went to the Hershey factory. I actually got a master's degree in chocolate taste testing there. And yes, that is a real thing.
Please tell me you have it in a plaque hanging up somewhere.
I got that when I was 16. I don't even physically have it anymore. I'm going to go back and get one, and I'm going to put it in a plaque.
That would be amazing, but what do they even have there?
So, at the Hershey's factory, there, for experiences, they have a chocolate taste testing course. They have a trolley ride around the city where they give you historical facts about the city, things like that. That one is free, I believe. They have a build your own chocolate experience. They sell cupcakes, custom cupcakes, I believe. Not custom, but like specialty cupcakes. And then they have the largest specialty shop of Hershey's products I've ever seen. They had foot-long Twizzlers.
Who needs a foot-long Twizzler? Who would want a foot-long Twizzler?
I wanted foot-long Twizzlers.
That is so much Twizzler.
Do you know how far away I could sit from my drink and be able to still slurp it with a Twizzler?
How far? A foot away?
A foot! That's the dream. I could be leaning back in a chair, have one end of the Twizzler in the drink and the other end of the Twizzler in my mouth, and not have to bend over to worry about it, or even pick up my cup.
This is the same energy as those yard-long Nerds rope candies I used to see back in the day. Who needs a yard of Nerds rope?
I need a yard of Nerds rope. Those were delicious, man. And they also had a giant Hershey Kiss. I would say it was a 5-pound. It was a 5-pound Hershey Kiss. Yes, I think it was
hell no.
A giant Hershey Kiss, but the giant Hershey Kiss was hollow, and it had smaller Hershey Kisses inside.
Okay, that's at least that's a little bit better than the chocolate frogs you get at Universal. They're just a pound of pure chocolate, no hollowness, no nothing.
They also had one thing that was a chocolate barbecue chicken pizza at their cafeteria.
Chocolate barbecue chicken pizza.
You couldn't even taste the chocolate. I got that because I was like, I have to try. But no, you couldn't even taste the chocolate.
I mean, it's a barbecue chicken pizza. Barbecue be overpowering, man.
Yeah, but I really wanted to kind of taste the chocolate because that would have been a really unique experience.
I feel like at that point you might as well just try it out at home.
No. If someone else is paying for it, I'll let them pay for it.
Just get a little fondue set, put a bunch of Hershey's Kisses in there, have them melt. Get some Dominoes, dip that sucker into chocolate.
Why would you use Domino's for that? Domino's is not a good choice.
But it's a cheap choice, and in this economy,
I don't care about cheap.
In this economy, it's the best we have.
No, even with this economy, food should not be bought for cheapness. It should be bought for quality.
All right, so you've heard it here first, folks. My man is in a different tax bracket than us.
I am absolutely not, but I will gladly spend more money on good food than I would on good product.
Valid. Although there are some moments where that could be a bit, I don't want to say controversial, but it could be a bit tough. For example, Taco Bell versus Chipotle.
No, nothing like branding or anything like that. I'm talking about I'd rather spend more money on food than getting name brand clothes or shoes or anything like that. Product.
Also valid.
But no, Chipotle's crap.
Oh.
Why? We're not sponsored. I don't care.
It's okay to have an opinion, even if they might be wrong.
Let me ask you this: when you eat Chipotle, how do you slowly eat it or do you quickly eat it?
It depends on how hungry I am.
Next time you get Chipotle, I want you to slowly chew on it. Take 30 bites and swallow. That's usually the recommended number of bites. Really savor the flavor and tell me that their tortillas do not taste like cardboard.
I don't know, man. It's hard to taste the tortilla when it's being covered by pico de gallo and corn salsa.
It is not hard to taste the cardboard flavor.
And the pulled pork carnitas and that cilantro lime rice.
You getting hungry?
Bro, I haven't had breakfast yet. I don't know how I'm surviving.
You could get Chipotle after this.
I don't know, either that or some of this leftover Papa John's in the fridge.
I still stick by it. I bet if you really focus on the flavors that you're eating, you will notice what I'm talking about.
So anyways, everyone, that was the last episode of the Chaos Crew podcast.
But yeah, Hershey Hershey Factory, very interesting place. I highly recommend going. And so, personally, I have this thing when it comes to traveling places. I like to drive. I don't like to fly. The biggest
there's gotta be like a distance limit though for how far you will drive to said destination.
Not really. Like, it's the only reason why I would fly to like further locations is mainly because I work, you know? I don't have a lot of time to do driving. But my big thing about driving places is you have no idea what you're going to come across driving that you're going to completely miss when you're flying. Like, that's how I ended up going to the Hershey Factory. We ended up driving to New York, and then on our way back, we were passing by Hershey, Pennsylvania, and we decided to stop. It's amazing what you might come across when you're driving over when you're flying.
Fair.
Yeah.
I can't really argue against that point, but I can't argue for that point because I haven't done much, guess you want to call that cross-country traveling. I think the last time I did a big road trip like that, it was from Connecticut down to Florida, and I was asleep for half of it, / not paying attention. Although I will say, when you drive through Maryland, you can really smell that Old Bay seasoning.
That's fair.
It's very faint, but you can smell that Old Bay.
Oh man, sometimes traveling is wild. Me and my family were driving from Colorado to Texas, right? Not too far. Not horribly far, just a couple states. We drove through snow, hail, rain, dust storm, all in like a 7-hour period.
What?
Yeah.
You almost listed off like every single biome there is.
Yeah. Like in 7 hours, we saw literally everything. Me and my sister started counting the tumbleweeds that were going across the road when we were in the dust storm.
Jeez. But then again, that's also traveling through like America as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when I was doing that first Vegas trip when I was 15, me, my 2 brothers, and my older brother's now ex-wife, we decided to road trip up to I think Los Angeles, like South LA, cause it was like a 5-ish hour drive, surprisingly. And on the way there, I did not realize how much desert I was gonna be seeing. Remember, I was still 15. My mind couldn't grasp all of that. We saw like the smallest little like dust tornado on the way to LA. It was funny and it was weird. This thing was maybe like 3 stories tall, a solid at least maybe like 200 feet away from the road, and just vibing in one singular spot, moving, kind of like one of those like inflatable arm waving dudes.
Oh my god, how did I not know this was a thing? What the heck?
What'd you just look up?
So I was looking up other interesting vacation places, and there's another one I want to talk about that I really, really want to do personally. But I saw this one, and now I really want to do this one as well. Have you ever heard of the Jules Undersea Lodge?
Undersea Lodge? I have never heard of it.
It's the world's first underwater like hotel, and it's actually in Key Largo. So what? Do you have to like?
How do you get inside?
That's what I want to know. Like, do you just climb down into it? Do you have to swim to it, or what? How's it work?
I am so curious.
I want to see a video of this.
Do I want to do that sometime? Yes.
It's so expensive though.
I was also gonna say, would my thalassophobia handle it? Probably not.
But that looks so cool.
It looks so peaceful, but yet here I am looking at pictures of it, and my heart's already racing like an anxiety attack.
That's fair. I'm gonna have to look up a video of like how you get down there later, because I just gotta know. But no. So the place I really want to go someday, because I've seen a couple like snippets of it, and I really like the idea, is King Richard's Fair.
King Richard's Fair?
Hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a Renaissance fair that operates in September to October. It's a massive area. I can't remember how. I think it was like 60 acres.
Bro, that is 80 acres.
80 acres. There we go.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see you're
looks-
interested in going there.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. It just all of it's just like really cool. Like for me, it's really really cool because I like old things.
Fair. I want to check out some of those like more like macabre like vacation spots. Like for example, my best friend, he did a Euro trip like a couple years back. The homeboy went to the catacombs in Paris, and he brought me back a souvenir coin from there.
That's really cool.
But I still want to go see the catacombs myself, because damn do I love the creepy and the spooky.
So it's not creepy or spooky, but up in Disney, there's another place called the Rainbow Caverns. They take you 600 feet below ground, and you explore some caverns with a guide and all that jazz, leading to the end of a beautiful, like underground waterfall that actually that when the lights shine on it, actually does kind of look like rainbows are on the wall and everything. But I believe they also have a haunted version that they do during October for that.
Okay.
Rainbow Falls, sorry.
Rainbow Falls?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Rainbow Falls.
Alright. Okay. And on that note, I forgot what I was going to say.
You were going to say something that has to do with rainbows, maybe?
I don't know. But it did look like a pretty dope like nature spot too. A good hiking area.
Oh, sorry. It's called the Forbidden Caverns. My bad.
Forbidden Caverns.
That is my bad.
Okay, that looks spooky. I am in.
And they do have special holiday stuff for October. But yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Man, I had to go through 3 different names to figure out the right name.
I apologize, okay?
Hey, it's like what the greatest philosopher once said. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
Nope, stop it. Stop it right now.
The amount of times I quote that a week. Oh, per week.
If you look at the photos for the Forbidden Cavern, the first one is called the Grotto of Evil Spirits.
Okay, that is the most metal name to ever give any like natural landmark ever.
There's also
the
a Grotto of the Dead.
Evil Spirits? Grotto of the Dead? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Man,
Lordy.
This makes me remember so much. If I was skinnier, I would go back. And it's so cheap too, just $20.
Huh. Speaking of cheap things, when I was in Vegas last year, I was staying at the Strat, which is the Seattle Space Needle looking resort, casino, hotel, whatever. And my girlfriend and I, we decided to go to the top of the Needle on our last day, which that itself was pretty cheap. It was maybe like $10 per person. That's because we were staying there as guests. I think if we weren't staying there, it would have been like $20 a pop. Either ways, to get to the top of it, you have to get on this elevator, and this elevator was not it was not fun. It was no picnic. This shit went up like 4 to like 8 floors per second type shit. It was insane. Like, I think my ears popped on the way up. When we got out of the elevator, my girlfriend had to like take a quick second to like stand by the railing and recompose herself. But actually,
Man,
when we
that's
got
crazy.
Yeah, but when we actually like went to the viewing area, it was insane. people with a fear of heights should definitely not do it. There were some spots where you could pretty much like lay on the glass, which wasn't recommended. There were specific signs saying not to, but still.
Oh, have you ever seen those places that like has the pools hanging off the edge of the building and the entire bottom of the pool is glass?
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Why?
Do I like getting scared? Yes. Do I like doing stupid stuff? Yes. Do I also have a limit? Yes. That is one of those things that if you asked me to do it, I would say nope. Darwinism is definitely not getting me today.
Fair enough. Fair enough. On that note, I feel like we've talked about quite a few vacation spots, which I want to visit. I kind of want to visit all these places again, and the places that you've been as well, because this is all very interesting stuff.
Same, man, same. And we're pretty much talking like about vacation spots just here within the continental U.S.
Oh yeah, if we want to talk about places outside the U.S., there's so many places I want to go. Holy cow! I want to visit the lands of my forefathers.
Dude, same. But anyways, like what Jeremy was getting to, it was fun. It was real.
And it was real fun.
Beat me to the punchline.
That's my job. Being controversial about food and beating people to the punches, that's what I do.
For sure. Well, for everyone who's listening, we hope you had an amazing new year, and we hope that 2023 works out. It's a great year for everyone. Tune in next time.
And in the meantime, stay chaotic.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.